is how can these education and job development programs be cross prison walls to go outside to also connect with the loved ones and the supporters on the outside who themselves are so affected by the prison industrial complex, and how can they be a part of that process? The thing that we hear so much from supporters on the outside, and they don't always say it in words, but you can hear it between the words, is how much load there is, how much work there is to do to support a loved one on the inside.
I'm so in awe of y'all's community outreach to the people that are supporting, the family members, the friends, the partners, the supporters of those that have a loved one that's incarcerated, and how much you include them in the process as well. It's really heartwarming and touching because we kind of get jaded by a lot of the big companies that take over prison stuff, and it's just so touching to see how much you do interact with the supporters and the people that do have a loved one incarcerated.
JPay and Securus do not have the long-term interests of people in prison or their family members. They do from a PR point of view, but they clearly don't from a use it in action point of view. First and foremost, it's driven by not us saying, oh, you all are broken people and here's what you need to succeed. It's the other way around. It's saying you are whole people who know what you need, and just tell us, and then we'll listen.
Entrepreneurship is for sure the most requested. It's really near and dear to my heart that people are often really sort of happy to find that we have when they first encounter us is our meditation module. And then people are also really pleased to see that, we have something like our food safety module is really geared to a very specific, here is, you can prepare for getting a certification that's immediately applicable to multiple industries post-release.
These programs are amazing because if we ever ended up in a time back like COVID and they were stuck in their cells or they couldn't go to class, these are the packets and these are the ways that they can continue to grow within their confinements, and it's so important.
So much to success, whether you're on the inside or outside, no matter where you are in life, is knowing that you are taking daily steps towards a long-term goal and getting validation along that way.
This is for the prison wife. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold.
So basically what Joseph's facility has decided to do, because they have received complaints of long check-in times, and not even just long check-in times for family visits, but they've received complaints about us losing time with our significant others because of these long check-in periods of time. Sometimes they'll pick us up late and they'll check us in for 2 hours, 3 hours. This last time it was nearly 3 hours for me. And then they take you to the facility, and that time that you missed is just taken out of your time. It's not like you get it back. I will say that this family visiting officer that made us 3 hours almost late this past time did give us extra time, but didn't even call us to let us know that they were coming to pick us up. So that also is another, they just show up at your door. You're like, oh shit, okay, hello. But so we people were complaining about losing time with their loved ones, not even just people like me who travel and value those hours, but people that live close and are I want this full time with my loved one. So CDCR or Joseph's prison, their solution, without asking for feedback or anything, they're rolling out their solution is changing the dates that they do family visits. So before it was Thursday to Saturday and Saturday to Monday. Not exactly ideal dates, but as someone who has to travel and works a Monday through Friday job, because I always end up missing at least 1-2 days of work, now they want to change it so that when they take longer to check us in or whatever, so now that'll be happening on separate days. So they want to make the dates, I believe they wanted to make it Friday to Sunday. It's something, no, it's not that, because that would make sense. I think it was...
Wasn't it Wednesday to Friday or something like that?
Yes, and then the other one was Sunday. It wasn't
to Tuesday.
Yeah, Sunday to Tuesday. So it was, again, taking away 2 of the weekend days, which already the Saturday to Monday visits were already very full, and the ones that you had to wait for, because that's the ones most families can do. You know what I mean? We all have jobs, and the incarcerated people have jobs too. They have programs, and they have programming they have to attend, and that they can only miss certain amounts of. So, it's not even just us getting off work or having the PTO or ability to travel. It's also making sure that they are able to like go to these things. So it's just frustrating
No,
because they changed it and they're acting like they're doing us this big favor, but really it's like
and really it's
it's
not.
not. Like I'm gonna have to end up taking off another day of work somehow, and that's like another day of pay, and
Hmm.
that's another day of probably having to figure out if I'm gonna have to stay somewhere or pay to do, like, you know what I mean? It's all money, and it just is annoying because it's like if they really wanted to help, I think that they could have asked opinions or like done some kind of like something to like ask for our feedback before just changing dates like that. And it's just
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't y'all have like family
we
boards
have
and things like that
yeah
for each
we
facility?
do. We have family visiting. We have IFC, which is the Inmate Family Council,
Mhm.
and they do a good job at like mediating between the two. I think that I don't know. I'm not a part of it, so I don't want to talk negatively about them. They do a lot of helpful things, but um, I think sometimes it just is stressful because they get told things and they don't really get to have feedback about it too. So
Yeah, I was just saying like they should poll them or ask them what they think, is the best
yeah, I
solution.
let them know. I let the
Yeah.
family visiting officer know when he told me when we were there, and then I let them know in our Facebook group. I was like, hey, just so you know, like this is not ideal for
Hmm.
people, and especially like elderly people.
Yeah. Or like people who have to travel, like people that have to take off work, and travel. At least the weekend gave you a buffer,
Hmm.
versus now
And it's just
having to take
they're
off
making
more
they're making
days.
us be shitty and complain about family visits, which I never do want to ever complain about family visits because I am so grateful for them, and I will do and bend my schedule and I will do it. But it just sucks, and they want us to be in
Hmm.
this place where we feel and look ungrateful. And of course, my husband is calling me right now because he hasn't called me yet. I have to
Oh,
say
hey Joe.
hello. Hi, honey. I'm recording the podcast.
Hi Joe.
Yes. All right. I love you. Bye. He said hi.
Okay.
He really annoys me when he does that because I sent him a text message or on the app saying I'm doing this, and he still did it.
Yeah. He probably didn't. Maybe he didn't
He
see it
probably
yet.
didn't. He always just
Mhm.
calls it, which I guess I can't be mad at him for.
Yeah. Well, I have a little a whine, I guess, if you want to call it that. I feel bad because it doesn't really affect me, but it affects a lot of other people. Lately, there's been a lot of crackdown at visitation, because not at my shed, but at a different area of the facility's shed, because on Fridays everybody gets bussed to main prison shed. Everybody, doesn't matter where you are, except for death row, obviously. And then people have been kind of getting a little bold in the visitation shed. And they've been really cracking down. Like there's lifeguard chairs where the COs sit throughout the shed. Now you have to sit across the table from your loved one. You can't sit next to them or diagonal from them if you're on a square table. And like I said, it doesn't affect me because our visiting shed is like only 4 people can be in there at a time. Like 4 incarcerated people and their families can be in there at a time. But you have these huge, like, I'm talking like mall food courts. Like, picture that. That's what the sheds look like in the other camps at Angola. And I'm just going to say this. Yes, we all love to get our hugs and kisses in. Believe me, I love it. It makes me feel like Mike and I are a normal couple. But when you take it too far, because that's what's been happening lately, I'm not going to get into details of what's happening, but obviously people are trying to do things that they shouldn't be trying to do. People are trying to have their own little family visits, if you know what I mean. Okay. And I'm just going to say this. You are ruining it for everybody that goes to visit, because now it's almost like it's a federal penitentiary. And I know a lot of the ladies that visit regularly are very upset about that. One lady was flipping out last weekend about having to sit across the table from her loved one. And Angola was never like that. Angola is pretty chill. They're great at understanding that family support is necessary, for an incarcerated individual to be successful behind bars, to not have it be what it used to be back in the day. It was the bloodiest prison. But I'm just going to say this, listen, I know you want to get it all in, but when you do that, first of all, you kill any chance of ever coming back to visit. Like, your visits are then revoked indefinitely. But you also ruin it for everyone else. So, I just think there's a lot of things, like you said, we can't control, but we can control ourselves, and we can control how we act when we are at visit. And I'm not trying to be harping, but at the same time, you have families that are getting ready for Christmas visit, and it's going to be really cold in there. And then I don't want that to happen. Christmas time, holiday visits should be a beautiful thing for families to connect and get together, despite the walls and the concrete and the razor wire. So
That would never fly.
that's my PSA.
That would never fly. CDCR, they would never let anyone even come close to trying to do anything like that. They'd point that out right away. They'd be like, no.
Yeah, well, that's how it is now. That's how it is now, because of recent situations that have happened. And we're thinking they happen on Friday, because on Saturday and Sunday, because when Friday, everybody comes from the outer camps to main prison. And then on Saturday and Sunday, now they're really policing the shed because something happened on Friday. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think the people that stay at Maine and visit at Maine on the weekends are getting kind of agitated at the fact that, you have these people coming from different camps to visit, and they're trying all this shit, and then it's killing the visitation for the people that stay at Maine regularly, Mm-hmm. So
we had
just a little PSA.
We had a recent change within our facility where even for family visits, mainly for regular visits, they're bringing the dogs in more regularly now. And the way that they're doing it at the facility is that they brought literally a button in, like a giant button that sits in the front. And when you come in, you just have to hit the button. And if it goes off, you have to go and let the dog sniff you. It doesn't. So that's their way of trying to do it randomly, I guess. And I guess a few women have already had to go and do it. But
see, we get sniffed anytime we walk in to get checked in. We get sniffed by the dog.
Yeah, I've never seen dogs at Joseph's prison. So,
wow, that's crazy. So it's like a random selector, basically. If you're gonna get sniffed by the dog, better not have steaks hidden somewhere.
Throwback.
Welcome, everybody. Since we've been chatting about visitation and our little whines about visitation, welcome to Love Within Walls, a Prison Wife podcast. It's your friendly host, Gigi here, and I'm here with the ever so beautiful and lovely,
your friendly host, Paige. Hello.
Hey, guys. Welcome to episode 77. We have a wonderful treat for you guys today. But before we start, I do want to mention our sponsor, Beyond Bars Imaging. Basically, it's time to get your holiday picks in, and Paige is the girl to go to. I know she's been working on some orders recently, so if you are interested in getting your holiday photos done, you want your photo to not look so prison-y or visit-y, picture-y, hit up Paige at Beyond Bars Imaging on Facebook and slide into those messages on Instagram to put your request in for Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day coming up. All right, Paige, you ready to get this party started?
All right, here we go. All right, it is time for What Up With That legislation. Paige, do you have anything?
I do. Nope, I'm not. Not them trying to make me sign in to read. Get out of here. Okay. The SF, the San Francisco Chronicle, put out an article, an opinion article. Medicaid cuts will make re-entry to society for incarcerated people even harder. In California, a significant number of incarcerated people struggle with substance abuse and or mental health conditions. Studies estimate that 60% of individuals in our state prisons have a substance use disorder, and over half of those in the county jails have mental health needs. This is in California. While incarcerated people receive a range of behavioral health and medical services such as intaking screening, psychiatric assessment, crisis intervention, medication management, and therapy, the period immediately after release can be crazy. You know what I'm saying? So a study from the Washington State found that in the first 2 weeks post-release, individuals are 12 times more likely to die and 129 times more likely to die from overdose compared to the general population. Setting up rapid, coordinated connections to care is therefore critical, not only to save lives, but to ensure treatment continuity, prevent hospitalization, and to reduce the risk of rearrest. In 2023, California became one of the first states to approve to offer Medicaid services for people transitioning from incarceration to the community, and now offers key health services to eligible individuals in state prisons, county jails, youth correctional facilities for up to 90 days before release. This initiative, which is paid for with federal and state Medicaid dollars, bridges the critical gaps by linking people to community-based care managers. As we know, with all of these cuts and changes that are being rolled out, that would change this dramatically. They're at risk to sweeping the Medicaid cuts that just passed in the most recent federal budget. In California, as many as 3.4 million Medi-Cal enrollees could lose coverage, and the state could lose up to $30 billion in annual federal Medicaid funding. Because Medicaid is the nation's largest payer in behavioral health services, covering over 20% of adults with substance abuse and nearly a third of those with mental health issues, the impact cuts will fall hardest on the people in reentry and recovery. And I mean, that's how it always is, isn't it? They're always going to be the second thought. So in large part, this is because the new budget requires that all adults covered under Medicaid expansion is to report at least 80 hours of monthly work or community engagement to maintain eligibility. Though the vast majority of Medicaid beneficiaries already work or qualify for exemptions in the states that they have employed such requirements, the overwhelming result is mass coverage of losses without any increase in employment. So this is kind of just someone's opinion article that they're throwing out there. They're like, we already know Medicaid costs are going to be an issue for us, but especially those that are coming out of incarceration and are coming out of even recovery houses or halfway houses, you are literally setting them up for failure. Like, that's what these systems are created for, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. And, like you said, like, people that are incarcerated are often like the second thought. They're not really considered. And now, like, not only are you impacting the majority of the population on Medicaid, but you're also impacting the people that have little to no resources coming out, you know? Wow. Well, I have a little something from Birmingham, Alabama. This is out of CBS 42, the local news station. And this was posted on December 4th. In Alabama, a bill was recently pre-filed in the Alabama legislature that, if passed, would give the public a chance to abolish the death penalty across the state. Representative Chris England out of Tuscaloosa filed a bill seeking to amend the Constitution of Alabama of 2022 to prevent any crime from being punishable by death. Wow, I never thought I would read a headline like that, TBH,
Yeah,
because as we all know, Alabama loves to gas people and find other ways to kill people, being the pro-life state that it is. But very, very interesting to see, and congrats to Representative Chris England for putting this forward, for having the cojones to do this in a state that obviously is currently executing people. So I hope that this is given a chance, that the people of Alabama get an opportunity to use their voice through voting, to vote for whether this is a good thing, or if they want to abolish the death penalty in Alabama, or whether they do or they don't. At least they have the voice to use their voice, the option to use their voice to make note if they want it or not.
That's hopefully they get rid of it, but I won't keep my fingers.
No, I know. It's especially in the deep South. All right. Did you have anything else, Paige?
I do. Bail reform reversal in D.C. The GOP bill to overhaul D.C. bail system could balloon the jail population. Go figure. A bill introduced would bring back more cash bail, increase pretrial detention for violent charges, reversing decades of bail reform that was just created in D.C. Critics say that it could add thousands to the jail population, disproportionately impacting low-income people. Pretrial incarceration, bail systems, and how policy changes affect incarcerated populations and their families are deeply relevant here, but never ever thought about. That's what we talk about on here, but it's like I don't know how many times I'd say it's like a second thought to other people. It's like, oh, well, don't go to jail, don't go to your family won't have to deal with this if you didn't do what you had to do to get there. And we're talking about pretrial incarceration still too, people. We're talking about people that have not been found guilty. These are people that are just getting picked up and have not been found guilty of a crime. So that could be you, that could be anyone.
Yeah.
Like, that's not just, if someone is awaiting a trial and has a loved one in jail, pretrial bail changes directly impact them. This is not just whatever. This is an example of how reform progress can be easily reversed in 2 seconds by a bill. And, what does this mean for the people or the families that are having people arrested in DC? And, how does this affect their long-term outcome? Because, there's all of this fuckery that's happening in our country right now in all of these different places. Like, there's going to be life after that, and it's just like, so what's going to happen after this? Because all of these things will have repercussions for them, you know what I'm saying? And things will happen, and it'll negatively impact a lot of people's lives, the people involved on both sides, and it's just gonna I don't know. It ruffles my feathers, and if I talk about it too much, like I had another article on here about the jails and all of the ICE arrests, and them just trying to because they're still doing that, and it's just like I don't even know how many times we can talk about that for anything to
I know, but can I just give a statistic here that I heard?
Yeah.
Out of I heard the number of over almost 2,000 people detained by ICE. Only there was 1,300 out of that let's just do rough numbers, 2,000. 1,300 are people with zero criminal record. Zero.
Every time I open TikTok, there's a new video of someone getting detained at a green card meeting, or something that wasn't even supposed to be anything, and they're now their loved ones are arrested, and there's people that were previously Trump supporters that are now it's everywhere, and it's all over my feed, and I just I'm so I don't know what to, you know what I mean? I'm
but like you said, what are the repercussions after?
Yeah.
They're picking up U.S. citizens at this point, because there's recent videos of U.S. citizens screaming, "I'm a U.S. citizen," and they're manhandling women. They're chasing women here in New
into
Orleans,
their
let's be real.
houses. That video is
Yes.
terrifying.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a 20-something-year-old, young 20-year-old woman being run down by big-ass masked men screaming at me, and I'm saying I'm a U.S. citizen. They're still chasing me. That's crazy.
It's America. Crazy. Are we great yet?
Yeah, right.
I'm waiting.
But I'm just saying, what we think is really happening and what's being told to us by this administration.
We're only seeing a smidge of the fucking shit that they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
And I'm already on their watch list, so.
Yes, you are. You've been searched from what is it,
Mar-a-Lago. Hey
Mar-a-Lago?
guys.
Yeah.
Did you find anything good?
Well, I have something out of the ACLU, just an anniversary, guys. Guess what? Yesterday, December 6th, was the 160th anniversary of the 13th Amendment, which ratified to end
If only.
slavery with one major exception: if you were incarcerated. The legacy of slavery, they said, still lives on as people behind bars are still coerced into working for mere pennies or nothing at all. It's long overdue to abolish slavery in all its forms. So thank
Get
you
rid
to
of
the
it.
ACLU for putting that out. Yeah, for working towards obviously ending the 13th Amendment, the exception. Um, did you have anything else,
Nope,
Paige?
that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. I mean, I have something about Louisiana and ICE, but I can save that for next week because y'all, I just for the people that are like ice ice baby, I'm gonna have a moment. Until you're impacted personally, you have no idea what you're chanting and rooting for.
People are still chanting. Like,
And I know, huh? I'm
I've
sorry.
like cleared a lot of my friends list and cleared a lot of things that like I don't see that shit. Like, so I can't believe that shit's still happening.
Well, I'm just saying it's here. It's in New Orleans. Our governor is profiting. Basically, this article was all about him profiting off Trump's deportation frenzy, and how it's building a new prison economy, and Louisiana is bankrolling themselves because incarceration is a moneymaker. But I'm just going to say this, you don't care about it until it personally affects you. I've had to watch my own students leave school terrified. Some of them are no longer with me as a teacher because of this. And until because some people are just so far removed, they have no idea what they're chanting for. And as someone that's in the trenches with some of these children of these parents that are being picked up, because my student, her dad was picked up, um, you know, I just need people to realize, because I think that when you brought up the idea, what happens after all this? And if you're sitting here still chanting ice ice baby, clearly I don't know what kind of heart you have, because to watch children being treated the way they're being treated, and to watch people call Hispanic people animals, um, hmm, I have a very strong passion, and I'm using my voice, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but I just think until you've seen it happen in your own hometown, and until you've seen people being actually affected by this, I was given protocol by our mental health professional at school on what to do if ICE shows up at my school. And I told them, I was like, I'm going to catch a charge. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to catch a charge because they are not coming in and taking my children. I service a lot of the ELL population. And so this is hitting home for me. And I just needed to say that. I mean, I know, it's been on my brain. It's been weighing me down. I broke down when my mental health professional had to give me cards to give my kids of what to say and what not to say to ICE agents. I mean, we're talking not even teenagers, 11, 12 years old. So just keep that in mind when you start chanting ice, ice baby and all this stuff, because
Get help
you don't
if you're fucking
know.
chanting that. Get help. Because what is wrong with
I'm
you?
saying there
These
are
are
people out there. You'd be
these are people
surprised.
that are not even guilty of anything. And guess what? Even if they did overstay a fucking visa, you think that they deserve to be manhandled to the ground and then shoved into a cage and forgot about? Because what the fuck is
And
wrong with
sleep in
you?
like silver, aluminum foil, whatever they are, blankets on the ground, huddled
The
all
pictures of the
together.
fucking kid, like I literally will lose my mind. I can't even
Yeah,
like, but then I just feel like that's me using my privilege to be like, okay, I can't think about it. I can't do it. Like, but it's like, it's happening.
this is the
Whether,
reality,
yeah.
though. You know. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents, and I know I'm gonna get hate for it, but you know
Guess
what? I
what? Our
really don't care. I
podcast
don't
is
care what
about
you think.
incarceration and the impacts of it. And this
Yeah.
is literally what is going on. And if you have a problem with it, then you probably shouldn't fucking be listening to our podcast. I'm just going to be honest. I'm sorry to cuss, but like, this is the state of the world that we are in right now. This is who Gigi and I are. And like, if you are one of those people, I honestly would be very shocked if anyone is listening right now that is an Ice Ice Baby person. And if you are, I just really want you to think about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And y'all, you don't know until you've watched someone. I've watched people on the side of the interstate get ripped out of their car in Kenner, Louisiana, where we have where I'm from, where we have a huge Hispanic population. Just on the side of the interstate, just ripping people out of cars, like zero fucks given. And it's just, it's very scary to watch. And until you haven't seen it firsthand, you know nothing, Jon Snow. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I needed to, it's just bad here, and it's only getting worse, and I'm scared for the aftermath.
Me too.
That's all. Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Prison Wife podcast. We are so excited today because today we have two very special guests from Level. We have Miss Sarah and Mr. Alex Wright. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves to our Wallers.
Sure. My name is Alex, and I'm a co-founder and the executive director of Level, which is a nationally focused independent prison education program that is supported mostly by the community. It's a very different approach to prison education. Instead of being run by and controlled by the prisons and departments of corrections, we are run by and answer to you all, the community. So we're really happy and excited to be here today to talk to you all.
And I'm Sarah. I am Level's program manager. I've been with Level since July of 2022, and I've been program manager since April of 2024. And primarily, I connect with sponsors on the outside who are enrolling their loved ones in our program. So all day, every day, I'm speaking with folks just like y'all about how we can support their person.
I feel like before I even looked into more, we met with you guys prior, and then we got to look into Levels a little bit more. And I am literally so amazed by all of the different, programs and resources that you guys have, and the way that you interact and collect everything. And I'm just really excited to share with our audience what exactly you guys do and getting the word out, because I think that this is going to be a tool and a resource that a lot of them will love to utilize, especially their loved ones on the inside who are always looking for new ways to learn and grow. So I don't know if maybe you guys want to start with telling us a little bit about what it is and what you guys maybe started from the idea and how it's grown to today.
Yeah, so Level started technically back in 2020 as a outgrowth from a prison literacy organization. And we saw that there was a really big need that wasn't being met, that there just wasn't a solution for. And that was educational resources and job development resources for people on the inside who were eager to prepare for a brighter future and really a different future after release. And we saw that there were just really fragmented solutions that were out there. A lot of the solutions were, again, run and controlled by prisons and by departments of corrections. A lot of people were sitting at facilities that didn't have any access to any programming at all, or maybe there was some programming, but it didn't meet their needs. So often, there either isn't any, or people can't access what there is because they're in a level of custody that doesn't meet that. There may be some program that has 80 seats, but at a facility of 1,800 people. So, again, where is the rest of the people supposed to get their needs met? And we really wanted to create a program and an approach that was driven by the needs of the people rather than the needs of the institutions. And so we started creating content and putting it out there at just a few facilities in one state. And over a few years, it grew really like crazy, like wildfire. It grew from a few facilities in Texas to now about 1,000, a little over 1,000 facilities in all 50 states. And that was through word of mouth, grassroots recommendations from people on the inside. At that point, we were only serving people on the inside who would request content from us. And as that program was growing, and is still, but we kept getting outreach from family members and supporters on the outside. And they were saying, we want to enroll our loved one. And they were all also in a lot of ways asking to be connected to that process. So that connection across prison walls was something that at the time when this program first got going, we didn't realize that was another second huge area that wasn't being met, need that wasn't being met, is how can these education and job development programs be cross prison walls to go outside to also connect with the loved ones and the supporters on the outside who themselves are so affected by the prison industrial complex, and how can they be a part of that process from the beginning of being able to enroll, right? They say, my loved one is here, he or she doesn't have access to anything. And then, so not just enrolling, but then being involved along the way. How can they support? How can they be a part of it? How can they be uplifted by it, right? How can they find connection through that? And so that was a need that was presented to us that we weren't necessarily out there looking for, if that makes sense. And so Sarah and I all last year conducted a lot of interviews and built essentially what is now this program that is kind of taken over all of what Level is. And as Sarah said, that's her main day job, which is how can we have this really be a community-powered and community-supported prison education program, connecting loved ones on the outside with their person on the inside, and make it really work as a sort of a triangle, if you want to think of that, like between us, the loved one on the inside, and what we call the sponsor or the supporter on the outside. And so that's where we are right now. I'll let Sarah jump in with kind of any input that she has. We can go on to talk about the content and kind of what we make and why and how and anything else y'all want to know about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've been, at least I have been surprised at how strong a response there has been, and how surprised people, well, I mean, maybe it shouldn't have surprised me that people were surprised to find a way to stay more connected with their person, but people just seem to be really enthusiastic when they find us and when they realize that, number one, we're a real human being and that we have a stake in what happens with their person. And, you know, something as simple as letting them know that, you know, oh, we noticed that your person moved, and so now we're following them. Just realizing that somebody out there is starting to share a little bit of the load, share a little bit of the weight of, you know, trying to see the wholeness of this person and to appreciate them in their wholeness in a tough circumstance, and create a little bit of room, a little bit more room for connection and joy.
I was just going to say that's so
just love
special
that
because I
y'all-
can't even
Oh,
think
go
of
ahead,
any other,
Paige.
you know, like third-party programs, like even like Walk and Horsed or like places that we have to use to order packages that follow our loved one. Like, you know, we have to update all of that always. Like that's never a thing. And that I think in itself shows that it's a different program than other programs.
I really love what Sarah just said there about share the load, and I think the thing that we hear so much from supporters on the outside, and they don't always say it in words, but you can hear it between the words, and sometimes they do say it in words, is how much load there is, how much work there is to do to support a loved one on the inside. And we certainly, I'm not at all going to say that we take on the level of load that loved ones on the outside take on. But as Sarah just said, and I think that's a really powerful thing, to even share in that load means a lot. And to say, yes, we are humans, just like Sarah said, we care, we have a stake in, we care about that person on the inside. And, you know, have to be honest, following that person when they're moved, it really is not the hardest thing in the world. It takes some tech. What we do is every shipment that goes out, we have programming that helps us, and we have links that help us, and it, it probably takes a minute per person per order when it goes out, maybe even a little less than a minute, to say, are they still at that facility? And if they're not, boom, we have a system to just switch it up. But to have that be something that the loved one on the outside doesn't have to worry about is really powerful. And we do like to figure out ways that we can pick up that load where we can. We certainly can't pick up all of the load. But to just take a little bit of it off, to have one, like you just said, Gigi, to have one less checklist that you have to have, means that you can use that time and energy to do things that you're better qualified for, rather than filling out some form and being like, oh, here they moved.
And I feel like it's also a relatively small way that we signal that we take their loved ones seriously, and that we take them seriously on the outside as well. Like, it's the kind of thing that a service might typically provide, but that we understand that a lot of people who are facilitating services for folks on the inside, they're sort of this, they don't have anywhere else to go. And so it's like, you don't have to take that extra step. You don't have to go that extra mile to really care for that person, care for their sponsor, care for them as, as the person the people deserving of that care that they are. And so I feel like we sort of signal that in a lot of small ways, from the following them as they move to the way that we handle, customer service and communication with our sponsors on the outside. Like, we take them really seriously. And I think that they see that.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate y'all. There's so many, like Paige said before, there's so many companies out there that just want, the financial benefits and no outreach or resources for family members. And I'm so in awe of y'all's community outreach to the people that are supporting the family members, the friends, the partners, the supporters of those that have a loved one that's incarcerated, and how much you include them in the process as well. It's just, it's really heartwarming and touching, because we kind of get jaded by a lot of the big companies that take over prison stuff, the prison realm, and it's just so touching to see how much you do interact with the supporters and the people that do have a loved one incarcerated.
JPay and Securus do not have the long-term interests of people in prison or their family members. They do from a PR point of view, but they clearly don't from a use it in action point of view. And look, whatever, they weren't set up that way. I mean, I'm not trying to say that they're a terrible company, but that's not what they're set up for. And for us, the long-term outcomes that we care about, like why we're doing this, if you get into the big why, and the why ought to drive everything else. If the why isn't driving everything you're doing, then kind of why are you waking up in the morning? But our why, our long-term why, is improving outcomes after release, which are employment, income, and not going back inside. And so the way that we do that is building community support and building educational and job development tools. And for us, it's a no-brainer to figure out ways that we can connect with sponsors on the outside, because these are people that are already doing so much. Talk about the load, they're already doing so much. If we can coordinate with them and not add more load to their life, take a little bit off, but also include them in it, and again, form that triangle of support between us, the service provider, the person on the inside who very much wants those same outcomes. Like, it's like, do people not think that people on the inside want better outcomes? Of course they do. And then the supporters on the outside, of course they want better outcomes. So if we all work together on that and do what each of us are really good at, and support each other, then I think that has a lot more likelihood of getting to that why, getting to that big why.
So your guys' company, you guys have a broad range of different topics that you guys can delve into. Like, I know you mentioned that like entrepreneurship is one of the biggest ones, of course, which I'm sure people who are listening could probably guess that. A lot of people in prison like to dream of starting up something. I mean, who doesn't? I love to dream of that too. And I think the one thing I also wanted to point out is that this is not, especially with ChatGPT and everything, all the AI nonsense going on in the world, like the stuff that you guys pull together and create is not AI word nonsense mumbo jumbo. It's actual like beef in the burger, you know what I mean? It's actual words, not AI jargon.
Sometimes I feel like there might be a little too much beef in the burger because, boy, is it, we put a lot of effort into putting this content together. And sometimes I wonder, man, should we be cutting some corners? Because, gosh, this is a lot of effort. We do. When we create new content, the first thing is we ask people on the inside, what do you need the most to prepare for a more successful release? And we have, and Sarah and her whole distribution team collects this data. I think last time I checked, we have a little over 15,000 data points about this. And so first and foremost, it's driven by not us saying, oh, you all are broken people and here's what you need to succeed. It's the other way around. It's saying you are whole people who know what you need, and just tell us, and then we'll listen. So we collect the most popularly requested topics. And then we go out and we find people that are experts in that area, but experts in a very particular way. It is experts that have walked in the shoes of the people the learners that we're serving. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, there's a million different ways you can approach entrepreneurship. You can do the Shark Tank thing of pitching and venture capital and millions of dollars. And we know that that's not what people that our learners are really looking for. They're looking for, how do I start my own business with $500 in savings that is a Main Street owner-operator type business, not a Wall Street Shark Tank thing. So we go find people who are really good at that. And then we spend a lot of time developing content. And the content, we know, it can't have web links. It can't be like stuff that, what you just said, Paige, like scraped from other stuff and, oh, go watch this video, because there's no watching of some video. So we know that this has to work for people sitting in a cell, people sitting in a common area. Everything that is needed has to be in that content. And then, we pretty painstakingly create content that is written from a belief that people have the capacity to do these things. They need the tools to do it. So it's not speaking to people as if they're dumb. It's not just dumbing stuff down. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It is lifting up of a lot of approaches and attitudes. But we try to take on the load of how do you create content that really works for people, so that because they're taking on the load of all the things that they have to deal with, sitting in a cell, all the other, not having access to technology. And so, we just are in the middle of a financial education series, and that was one of the top 10 most requested areas of content. And it took about 7 months for us to find the right content subject expert, because so many people teach financial education from a very different point of view, where they're really just looking at trying to steer you to some investments, or they're kind of oriented around kind of more upper middle class type people. And we had to find people that have spent time on the inside, have taught financial education to people that are just as impacted, and that can speak from that voice, where they have walked in the shoes of the people that they're creating content for. So it's I think it's proven really successful. I will say there's a tremendous amount of effort put into it.
Yeah, and you can see the amount of effort that you put in as a teacher. Looking at the curriculum and seeing how much you are able to take a regular curriculum and build it for someone that's incarcerated. But like you said, not dumbing it down, but just giving them like a way to work through that curriculum without having access to all of the resources that someone in a college or in a classroom would have. And I also love the variety of the curriculum that you offer. Obviously, we know that entrepreneurship 1 and 2 are probably the top 2. Do you want to talk about some of the other curriculum areas that you do offer with Level?
Yes, Sarah, do you want to share some kind of stories or anecdotes of feedback from people on the inside, how they're sort of requesting and then responding to that breadth of content?
Yeah. Entrepreneurship is for sure the most requested. You're absolutely right about that. Another one that is really near and dear to my heart that people are often really sort of happy to find that we have when they first encounter us is our meditation module. So I've been a meditator for over a decade, and so I've seen the power that has in life. And very often, one of the things that's top of mind for the folks on the outside is thinking about the lived experience and the mental well-being of their loved one. And so seeing that we offer that is something that seems to be really positive for people. So that's often a first choice when people enroll. And the new financial literacy one is, like Alex was right, it's like it's really also starting to sort of fly out when people are signing their person up. And I think it's because when you go and you look at what's included, it really is clear that it is tailored to the experience that their loved one is going to have. And it's also so much about like hitting the ground running. So there's also some really clear information in there about steps that you might be able to take before you are even released, so that you've got the momentum, you've already started down a path, because there's so much research about, achieving goals and making meaningful progress, that like if the most challenging thing that you're facing, you've already built momentum when you do, that can be so important to keep you moving forward. And so I think that when people look at the newest financial literacy module, that's something that really comes clear from what's described there and how that's framed. And then people are also really pleased to see that, we have something like our food safety module is really geared to a very specific, like here is, you can prepare for getting a certification that's immediately applicable to multiple industries post-release, practical, sort of a thing that you can tick right away. And overall, people to speak from the learner's perspective, talking about preparing and taking the certificates that they earn with us and putting them together for packets ahead of parole. Talking about demonstrating not just personal development from like a meditation side, but that practical food safety or that practical entrepreneurship and financial literacy. Like all of those things come together in a way that sponsors find compelling and are glad to see that like it's also, I think that it's important that we have such diverse offerings, because we're not trying to shoehorn anybody into a particular path. We're not saying, oh, you must have your head down in this material. Like this is the only stuff that's valuable to you. We know what's right. It's this really diverse thing that recognizes that people might need different things at different times and different circumstances, and trusting them to choose what's most meaningful for them. So like a sponsor who brings somebody in, they can let us know, we think that I think this is what my person would like first. But then after that, we also let them know that all of the modules that go out have a list of what we currently have available, so that the person from then on can say, here's what I want next. And so then it's sort of in their hands going forward, while the sponsor on the outside gets updates about
I love
how
the
they're
way
progressing
that you
through the
guys
program.
keep the loved one on the outside connected. Like, I just want to touch on that, because when you talked about that with us last time, I was like, that's amazing. Because a lot of times, even sometimes other similar programs that you can sign your loved one up for, like they don't include you at all. And the fact that, you can log in and see what they've returned and how they're doing, and like access, like you said, like their certificates if they need it, like that is amazing. And that's such an important resource that I'm so glad you guys created, and that we are able to share with everyone here. Like, these programs are amazing, because if we ever ended up in a time back like COVID and they were stuck in their cells or they couldn't go to class, like these are the packets and these are the ways that they can continue to grow within their confinement. And it's so important.
Yeah, and I mean, I love hearing that. I think it's a yes and approach. Like, even I hope we never go back to what happened with COVID and being that further restricted. And it's sort of what we hear so often is maybe there is some access to some other things, but this is additional ways. How much, there's no ceiling on the amount of education and preparation that you can put in to get higher chances of success after release. And then the notification thing is really interesting. You are exactly right, Paige. You can, sponsors, loved ones on the outside can log into their account on our website and see the progress of their person on the inside. But we also send out automated SMS text messages every time new content is sent, saying the date it was sent, where it was sent, what it is, so that they can keep an eye and make sure it's on its way. And then again, when content is completed, when we receive completion forms, And then when we send certificates, and then we just send them in a text message, the link to the digital certificate so that they can keep an eye on it. And Sarah deals with this all day long. It really is amazing to me that I think people know that those are automated SMS message. I mean, we send a lot of personalized text too, but I think people inherently know that that's an automated message. The responses that we get from it is just tremendous, and we see and read the responses. I mean, they all go to the same inbox, but for people to get an automated message, I mean, how many automated texts do you get, and to respond and be like, thank you so much, that is so meaningful for me. I mean, it really speaks to the need out there of that connection, and just like what you were saying, Paige, the need of keeping people on the outside connected. When you have people responding to automated text messages in really kind ways with hearts and all things like that, it really speaks to how important that is for people.
Yeah, I remember that I had a sponsor tell me once that there was a period of a couple of months where her loved one had been transferred, and at his new facility, getting him access to whatever the communications provider at his facility was like delayed. And so for a period of 2 to 4 months, something like that, she said her only connection to him was him getting our content and like getting notifications from us about, oh yes, we sent this to him, oh yes, he received it, he sent the form back to us. And then on the more sort of personal communication, I will, when I see, comments come back from a loved one that like really sort of spark joy in me, I will like capture those and then send those back to the sponsor. Be like, so-and-so said this really lovely thing in the form that they sent back. And that's been especially, like, I keep thinking about that sponsor sometimes when I do that, where it's like, I don't even know, maybe you haven't been able to speak with your loved one for who knows how long, but like, I can give you some of their words and sort of show you the experience that they're having in our program that you connect with.
I think that really sets you guys apart from other programs in itself, on top of everything. Like, that in itself is amazing. Like, as someone on the outside who, doesn't have that, that's amazing.
And we're trying hard to diversify further the offerings that we have. There's so much interest in vocational job preparation, and the barrier there is it's really hard to fundraise to create that content, and we're doing the best we can. And with the diverse content that we have, I often spend my days thinking about, gosh, what more can we do? What don't we have? There's so much interest in transportation logistics, CDL preparation, and there's a tremendous number of different offerings in that area. It's not just sitting in a cab driving a truck, although a lot of people do want to do that, and that's great. But there's distribution and logistics and all kinds of career opportunities there. There's just a tremendous number of things in the skilled vocational trades that people really want to prepare for, and we know that we can't get somebody a CDL Class A license on our own. We know that we're not going to be the sole provider of a mechanism for people to get certified in all kinds of things, but we know that we can be a step along that way, and we can be a preparation. And as Sarah was saying earlier, so much to success, whether you're on the inside or outside, no matter where you are in life, is knowing that you are taking daily steps towards a long-term goal, and getting validation along that way that this is something you're doing and it's the right thing. And maybe that has to change, and maybe that path looks a little different, but that isn't the worst thing in the world if you know along the way that you were doing things to prepare, and maybe you need to take a left turn somewhere where you thought you had to take a right. That's cool. The bigger point is, does somebody have your back, and is somebody helping walk alongside you to the best that they can, and putting together methods for progress, and that is so much the name of the game. And so we're really interested in continuing to develop that content and
if you guys were to continue to get funded and able to fundraise like the money the way that you would envision, like how do you see your company in the next year? Like, in the perfect world, how would you envision it?
Man, I wish more people asked that question. I think it's probably twofold. One is being able to fill the requests of the content development that the majority of people are asking for, and we do a lot. But I think a lot of people see that it could and should be more. And to the point of what you just asked, in the spirit of what you just asked, like if we could wave a magic wand, it would be that. Is better content development in kind of vocational development areas. I think a lot of people are really interested in that. There is also a lot of interest in not in specific vocational job development or even just life preparation. A lot of people are interested in kind of soft skills development, writing, being better communicators with all kinds of people in their life, improving relationships. And those are things that are very good for getting a job. They're also very good for just having a successful, thriving life, right? So those are those kind of bigger amorphous job development areas and job skills and personal communication development areas. And then the last thing is it's interesting that you mentioned, Paige, AI mumbo jumbo. We are really interested in trying to figure out ways that we're always a pretty tech forward company. We try to figure out ways that we can use technology to meet people's needs. And there are a lot of areas that we're exploring about how we could put together career development plans that are specific to individual people, specific to their location where they're going to be released, that are specific to their job experience both before incarceration and then even during incarceration, what kind of jobs that people have, how can that be translated to a successful employment after incarceration. And there are ways that technology, and I've had to really change the way I look at it, to be honest with you, Paige, because I've looked at a lot of this as being somewhat mumbo jumbo, but the more that we explore it, the more interesting there are ways that technology can help us create individualized, localized career development support for individuals in a way that you would never be able to with human, just how much time it would take one person to do that for each recipient and then move on to the next recipient. And so we're exploring ways that we might be able to use technology to do that. Things like looking at current job trends in an area where people are coming out to, looking at what reentry support is in an area, kind of like Sarah was saying with our current financial education series that is very oriented towards a day one, week one, month one, year one type of approach of steps that can be taken when you're released. How can we do a similar thing but make it very localized to a person's experience? And so that's really interesting. I would say we're in the exploration phase of that. But if we had all the support in the world, we would definitely go more in that area, because I feel like if we could provide that, and that's even, I think, a very helpful thing for even loved ones on the outside, right? Because I don't even know, to talk about taking load off of people. Imagine being able to put together just even a research packet that says, right now, here are the employment areas that are in your area, here are training solutions that are in your area, and taking that load off of both the person on the inside who doesn't have access to computers, the internet, etc., and then even the sponsor on the outside who may have access to technology that could help them research that. But boy, what a lot of work that is to research all that. So we're trying to figure out ways that we might be able to help with that.
That's awesome. I was gonna say, can I just give like a little short anecdote? Because my husband is, doesn't have a lot of access to programs, and he's been locked up. This will be coming up to his 27th year. So he was locked up right as the internet was becoming a thing in everyone's home. And so I thought, this would be perfect for my husband. The how to navigate the internet, and for people that have loved ones that have been behind the bars for decades. There are a lot of great programs that can catch them up technology wise with your curriculum. So I was like, oh, my husband needs the navigating the internet and how to do that, because he didn't have cell phones. He didn't have a computer in his home before he was incarcerated. And then, just thinking that he's not in a place where he gets a lot of access to programming, that this curriculum is something that can be beneficial to people that fall into those categories. So I just can't thank y'all enough for what y'all do and how y'all reach out. And I encourage our wallers to look into Level and see, I was so excited that you guys offered it at Louisiana State Penitentiary. And so I'm very excited to get my husband involved in learning about the internet since he's, such a 90s kid because when he went in. And I would just ask, like, how can our wallers get access to Level? If you want to walk us through that a little bit of how someone who is interested in getting this curriculum and programming for their loved one, how do they go about getting to you guys to look at the different curriculum and things like that?
Well, our website is learnlevel.org. It's learnlevel.org. And there you can see all the 1,000+ facilities that we currently reach. You can see all of the programming that we currently have. You can actually even open it up and read it. There's a pretty comprehensive FAQ section that Sarah has put together. And then there are enrollment forms that you can fill out. They're question forms if you have questions. Sarah, do you have any feedback on ways that people can get involved?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, if you reach out to us, the person that you're probably going to talk with is me. Hi, hello, it's me. And we have, there's multiple ways. There's, if you have listened to what we've talked about and you're so excited and you just want to go ahead and get started, you can go to learnlevel.org/enroll, and that's the direct way to the enrollment form. And we also have a phone number. I answer that number during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, sometimes outside of normal business hours. And that number is 877-285-3835. That's also that text inbox that Alex mentioned goes to our whole team. I'm answering messages there all the time. The FAQs is a really great place to, get into the nitty-gritty of how the program operates and what you can expect when you actually enroll. But the very first thing is, if you enroll, a member of our team, likely me, will reach out quickly and let you know, hey, we got your request, we see you, we see the information about your loved one, and we're here to help you get started.
That's awesome. I love that. And, I had a question. It just escaped me. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Paige,
I was just going to say if there was anything else that you wanted to throw out there to our listeners to let them know about Level, or anything that we maybe didn't touch on that you wanted to, because it's such a great program and I just want everyone to know all the good stuff we do. I literally can't wait for my husband to listen to this, because I told him about it and I was like, you just need to wait and hear them explain it, because I'm not doing a good job.
The final thought that I have kind of wanted to share with people, just because it has really stuck with me from one of the conversations that I've had with one of our sponsors, is just letting people know also that that we see that people are wanting some more joy and recognition of the joy that they have in their relationship with their loved one. So like the sponsor that I spoke with said that, people in her community or in her life sometimes like didn't understand why she was in this relationship. Like they just sort of didn't get it. And I think that we get it, and we also, see from, I see from communication back from our learners on their forums and from communication with sponsors, like they're laughing, they're having a good time, they're finding a lot of joy and positivity. And yes, circumstances might be tough and they may be facing challenges, and this doesn't say that none of that is real, but also that it's not surprising to them that they are having joyful moments with their loved one. And so like we take the joy as seriously as we take the challenges. And so we're really, I sort of feel privileged and honored to be a part of that every day.
Wow, I love that. Thank you for saying that. And it's an honor and privilege to get to know more about Level. And I will say, like, I was looking on the website, and I wanted to tell our wallers that how user friendly it really is. Like, you think, oh, I'm walking into this big curriculum thing and oh my gosh, but it is so user friendly. You guys do a great job at connecting and breaking it down for us to learn more about what you guys do on the website too. And I was just thinking, like, you know, if you're looking for something, especially for the holidays, something like you said about the joy, and you know, it brought an idea to my brain. I'm like, if you're thinking of giving your loved one something really positive, that's something that you can share with them in the holidays. This is a great way to. We always talk about the holidays being a really tough time for prison wives, prison and family members, you know, that are without their loved one. This is a great way to stay connected with them. This is a great way to do something and be a part of something that they're doing. And what a great time, you know, to gift someone this for the holidays and be able to have that connection together, you know, with you and then with your loved one, learning their progress and learning and seeing what they're doing and accomplishing.
Yeah, I agree. I really appreciate you saying that, Sarah. It is such a thing that I have learned is how much love there is, and we get testimonials pretty regularly from our sponsors, and then we ask them for photos to use on our website just because it helps with, you know, people knowing that that's a real review from a real human. And the photos that we get sent are the most beautiful photos of. They may be old, they may be whatever they are. There is so much love. There is smiling. There are hugs. And it is exactly what you just said, Gigi. It's supporting that love, what we can do to support it, and what you all are doing to support it, is really very beautiful, because life and love can't stop, and it doesn't stop for a lot of for people that we serve. And then I wanted to add one more thing to you all asked how listeners can get involved and support. And we have a very tiny, if non-existent marketing budget. We have a very tiny team. One of the best things that people can do is share this resource if they're on any Facebook communities, especially the closed Facebook communities that are very supportive of just loved ones. Just to mention, hey y'all, I heard about this, check it out, maybe it's for you, maybe it's not. Even just mentioning it as a resource can be so powerful, because that's one of the biggest ways that sponsors hear about our program is through a recommendation. We know that a lot of loved ones on the outside use, you know, Facebook support groups and other sorts of areas like that to find resources. So making a call out to this can really help us. It's not like sales; it's just making people aware of what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And are y'all are on? You said you're on Facebook, and are y'all on Instagram as well?
We have accounts on Facebook and Instagram. We're not the best social medias out there, but we do our best to keep up. What we do is we share a lot of testimonials. We share a lot of the love that we hear. We have short features that we do from interviews, and we share them there. In a lot of ways, we're trying to make people feel a little less alone. That's the biggest thing we do on social media.
Well, thank you for all that you do, and for, you know, engaging the people inside as well as the families out here supporting their loved ones. And we can't thank y'all enough for what you do and what you've created to make it easier for our loved ones to have access to top tier curriculum in such a confined area, you know, without technology and without books and without, you know, all kinds of resources that they would traditionally get in a traditional education setting. And just the connection that you form with the people out here as much as you do with the people inside is just a testimony to what an amazing, you know, group and company that you are. And I can't thank y'all enough for all that you do. And I'm excited to gift my husband some curriculum for the holidays, so he can learn about the internets for sure.
Well, and thank you all so much for y'all are dozens of episodes into a wonderful project that is you guys are building and connecting and supporting. So it's I appreciate you saying thanks. We really take inspiration from people like you all who are have been doing this for a long time and are putting blood, sweat, and tears into creating communities that are trying to fight the isolation that the prison system can create. So really thank you all, and we take a lot of inspiration from your work.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for talking with us.
It is. Okay, and we have one random question that we ask all of our guests. Are you ready? We're big into astrology, so we're just curious. What are y'all's astrological signs, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm gonna let Sarah go
Oh,
first.
okay, I love
I'm a
that.
Libra.
Hey, okay,
Mhm.
love that.
I am a
Gigi's a
Gemini.
Gemini.
I knew y'all were
Not
good people.
me.
We're all air signs. Yes.
I'm a Cancer. I'm a crybaby
No, no, no.
Cancer.
Besides Paige, but Alex, do you mind sharing like what your birth date is?
Sure, I'll share anything because you can be my astrological guide. I don't really know a lot about
Okay.
astrology. My birthday is June 1st.
Okay, so you're in the first group. You're the Gemini one with me. I'm May
Okay.
26th, so you're a few days after me.
All right.
Nice.
Thank-
It's
Well,
like
I love that
dope.
y'all find love in our signs and in so much else that's going on.
Thank you so much, guys.
I love when I find another Gemini because it's just like I got it. I gotcha. I gotcha.
Our Gemini is truly the best. Is
Yeah.
that right?
And my husband's a Libra, so we get
Okay.
along really, really well, really well. So
There you go. It's all about balance. It's all about balance.
he balances my 8 mood swings a day, like So
Yeah. There you go.
I'm determined that I don't have mood swings. The rest of the world just swings, and I'm
Fair.
just me. It's not me. It's the rest of the world swinging.
fair. Ooh, Paige, I think I'm getting a phone
Oh,
call.
who is it?
Ooh, who could it be?
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Freddie.
an inmate at Florida Correctional Institution.
All right, guys, it's that time of the pod where Florida Fred gives us a ring-a-ding-ding, and we get to answer some of your questions and comments. So, Paige, did you want to get it? Actually, you know what? I want to get this one started, Paige, because someone asked from last week. Chloe asked, "How was the steak, Paige? Your steak dinner
Oh
that
my
we talked about
gosh,
last
it was
week."
so good, y'all. I took a picture of it, so maybe I can send it to Jen and have her insert here. It was amazing. It got there. They didn't ring my doorbell, which is everything I want in my life because I never want people to bother me. But I didn't know it was there because it was dropped off by Joseph's sister, like through her app. So I didn't know. So I looked outside and it was there. I was like, oh shit. So I got it, and thankfully it wasn't super cold or anything. But I ate it with my taters, and it was amazing. Brody had his pizza. And it was a wonderful meal. I've never had a steak delivered to me, and it was perfect. They cooked it perfect. It was pink, beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Okay. So, did you eat with Joe, or did
So
y'all have like a
we were
video
going to,
call?
and we didn't talk about it before. I guess we were supposed to eat together. That's my fault. I'm sorry. I ate it when it got there because he still hadn't texted or messaged me, and I was just like, okay, and it was already past the time and it had been here. So I ate it, and then he called, and he ate his stuff, and everything worked out.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad y'all had that moment, and you got a good old steak delivered to your front
Love
door.
it.
All right. You want to do the next
Yes,
question?
the next one I have is from Miss Dan Gurr. She said, I got to meet up with my prison wife bestie. Can you share a time that you met up with a prison wife friend IRL?
Well, obviously, I got to meet Paige in person for the first time ever last year when we did our Nashville meetup, and we ran to each other, and we were like hugging in the middle, and everybody's like looking at us like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it was, I would say, like, I've met a lot of people in real life. It's always very fun, and I enjoy it. And I'm glad that Danger, that you were able to do that and meet up. It was so cute seeing she posted the picture in Love with Them Walls, and I was like, my Shayla's. It's so nice to see when people actually do meet up.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'll explain a different one since you explained ours. I've met a few prison wives too. I'll do the first one that I ever met, my friend Brandy. She at the time lived in Michigan and I lived in Pennsylvania, but we were both at the time dating men. We're both married now to men in California. So she was similar to me, like she would take trips to go see him. So she really understood my life and my struggle. So we became friends very quickly. And I think she came to my house first. And we just like it's just like, you know what I mean, it's just like it's for me, every time I've met someone that I've met online, it's like the same as everything, like, you know what I mean, because like I just like show everyone my weirdness right away, so it's like, you know what you're getting with me and who I am. It's really not a surprise or anything. So that was amazing. And then after that we were able to meet up in California multiple times too, because she eventually moved out there, so we got to like meet up at different times, like when we were visiting our honeys and stuff, so that was nice.
Were y'all guys at the same
Never.
facility too?
Never. Mm-mm.
Never. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome that y'all were able to do all that. I didn't realize she came out to you too. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
think that was
that.
the first I think that was
Okay.
the first time we met. I might be
Okay.
wrong, but I know that we've hung out like 4 times probably. But she was the
Okay.
very first prison wife I ever met.
Okay. Nice. Oh, my first time I met was when I was working with another nonprofit, another support group, and it was me, my friend Carly, and JoJo, who's like my older sister. We were all moderators in this group, and we went to Vegas, and it was like a life or wife trip, and so we started doing life or wife trips, and that was my first time actually meeting people, in this life and outside of Angola. I will say that because Angola, since I'm local, it's kind of like, you meet people at Angola all the time, but meeting people that have loved ones in different areas of the country, it was really awesome. And I always remember that. And Paige, you can maybe attest to this too. It's so nice meeting people and being able to have like in-person human conversations. I love that we have, we're able to do Zooms and Google Meets and, do all these interactive things online, but there's something about talking with people and having that human contact and having them understand everything you're saying and feeling safe enough to be able to talk about it, because, for a lot of us, we can't talk about it with just anybody. And at that point in my life, I was very much in the closet. So having access to people that knew my story, that I was able to take a call, with Michael on the phone and them there, and, talk about it at dinner was
I
wonderful.
think
It's such a safe
I think
space.
that's the part that makes it most safe for us, because it's like we're around people who know our situation, who aren't judging our situation, who are living our situation. So it's like if you get a phone call, no one is giving you like a second glance or a stare or
Hmm.
giving you shit for it, because like we are all doing the same thing, and it's like it's just like a comfort, and I feel like it makes it more real when you're together too, because not being able to be with your loved one all the time kind of stinks. And it's like when you get to be with your friends, it's not the same closeness, but you can kind of feel close to them in a weird way.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Danger. All right. This question is from Tiffany Jean. She asked, especially for you, Paige, because you've done this advocacy bit for a long time. How did you start your advocacy journey, and what advice would you give?
I feel like follow your heart, like because your heart probably has a passion, depending on, like, I mean, I love advocating for everything, but like my passion for the most part like is behind like, supporting like prison wives on this journey and like LWAP advocacy. But like I will help with other things, but like those are like the main things. I think if you too broad, it can kind of, you can wear yourself thin, and there's a lot of areas that need attention. So I think depending on where you're at, like finding an organization or one that's virtual that you could join that is good for you, like just finding the right fit, and you know, finding where your passion is, I think is the two things, is how, at least that's how I was able to hit the ground running and figure out what I was able and wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like getting involved in like finding them on social media or getting involved in those like nonprofit advocacy groups that are local or national or state are a great place to start too. I really, like, I know I don't do a lot of advocacy work. I just don't. I probably should do more. But I think this, like some of the local groups that I have here in New Orleans and Louisiana is where I try to focus most. And that may work for you, but if your loved one's in like BOP, there's a lot of like, FAM is a great organization to get involved with. There's a lot of great other areas if that helps you too. Sorry, I don't even know. I'm rambling. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, sorry about that.
Addie asks us, what is your post-visit snack or ritual? I don't have a snack because I usually feel sick and like I'm going to vomit after, or I actually vomit like I did this past time. So there's no eating for me after visit. Even if I am starving, there's no eating. I have to like wait a little bit. I can't immediately eat after. But my ritual is probably just being a sad girl, and I like to have like a little bit of quiet time to process everything in my brain, because I like to like replay it in my head and just kind of, play it back, I guess, is what I do usually.
Yeah, I'll sometimes, it just depends how I feel leaving visit. But I usually like, I put on music and I just like kind of have like the quiet time to myself, especially when I'm driving down 66, which is this 2-lane road that's like 15 miles long. It's windy, and that's how you get to the prison. And sometimes on my way out, I will stop at the grocery store, the little market that I always go to, and I always get a bag of Vlasic pickleballs. And I love those. And watermelon and Vlasic pickleballs are my go-to snack after visit, because by then I want something fruit, like hydrating, because I've eaten crap all day. And then I love the salty pickleballs. So that's my snack. But I usually just zone out and listen to like sad girl music. And sometimes I'll cry, and sometimes I'll just be like, what is it? Like reminiscing and kind of reliving, going through the visit. Yeah. All right, I do have a comment from someone that I thought was really sweet. I'm not going to say her name because I didn't ask for permission, but she just said this. She left us a message in our inbox. So if you know who you are, thank you for this beautiful message. She said, I want to say I love your podcast. I don't have many people I can talk to about this, and I go through it alone most of the time. It's nice to hear y'all talk. It's like I've got friends who get it for once. So thank you.
You
so
do
much,
have friends, honey. Come be my friend.
We're here.
Come be my actual friend.
Come friend us.
Yeah.
Come follow us and join our Facebook group if you need extra support. And then obviously we've also partnered up with Prison Families Alliance. If you need extra support, they have meetings to help, any situation dealing with incarceration. So we're here for you, honeys. Thank you so much for that lovely comment. I love the comments where we get like, it's like watching my two friends FaceTime.
I know, I love that's the biggest
that
compliment.
means a lot, because it does. It really means a lot. All right. Well, that is all I had, Paige. Did you have anything
Yeah, I
else?
had one more. What is your guilty obsession?
Ooh. What's yours?
I don't know.
I love sweet treats. I don't know if that's a guilty obsession. I love a good sweet treat. At the end of the day, at the end of every meal, like I'll have a sweet tooth for sure.
I'm like more of like a salted. I could eat McDonald's fries anytime, anywhere. Like maybe that's my answer. Because nothing came to head right away, but when you said that, I was like, I could fuck with McDonald's any day, anywhere.
Speaking of, I think I'm gonna get the Grinch meal today.
Oh my god, yeah. You'll have to let me know if you like it. It looks gross.
Okay. I've heard it's really good.
I'm sure it is.
And I'm
sure it is. I just am weird.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep y'all posted. But yeah, I love food. Food is probably my guilty pleasure.
I do love food.
Mm-hmm. And shopping. shopping.
Yeah, spending money I
have a
don't have.
problem.
I love that. I love
Correct.
doing that.
Yeah. Checking. I love going to my cart and like checking out.
And I love
you know?
doing it
No-
when I don't have time to think about it. I'm like, "Bah."
Yeah, you get quick
Yeah.
happy.
I'm like, up. Well, I already did it.
Yeah. Well, you guys, thank you for being here for another fantastic episode, and we hope you got a lot out of our interview with Alex and Sarah today. And we'll have all the information posted below, and it would be a great gift. I'm just saying, I'm gonna give Michael something that I want, like that I feel like is something that we can do or we can talk about together and stay connected. So, and I'm very excited about what's coming up for the rest of December.
Guys.
We got our stories coming, so I can't wait to interview some of you guys, some of our Waller friends.
Stay tuned.
For our holiday storytelling series. So love y'all guys. Thank you so much for being with us and riding with us and listening to us rant and laugh and be here for you. And it means more than you will ever know. I can't say it enough. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with it, but I'm just so touched.
We appreciate you guys and all the messages and the love that you send us, and it helps make our journeys a lot more bearable, because as much as we do get the nice comments, you better believe we still get mean ones.
Oh yeah. Well,
But y'all
those-
tramp them, because who cares about them?
Who cares about them? Well, we love you guys, and we hope you have a great week. Happy Hump Day, and we will see y'all next
Thanks
week.
for listening to episode 77. Get it?
7-7.
I literally saw a meme of a kid going up to Grinch and going 6'7", and he was like 8'9". He went 8'9", like that.
Okay, I'm gonna borrow
He was like
that. I'm borrowing
8'9".
that
I'm
from
like,
my
yo,
kids,
that's
'cause that's
hilarious. I'm doing that to
Get out
Brody
there.
next time.
All right, guys, we love you.
Bye, friends. Love you.
Have a great week. Bye.
This is for the ones who love through the distance, for the ones who stay solid while time keeps ticking, for the ones who hold it down but never lose themselves. This is for the prison wives. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. They don't see the late nights, letters on the table, fighting through the system, just trying to stay stable. They don't see the count days, they don't feel the time crawl. They just see the sentence, but they don't see the love at all. Yeah, I made the vow and I stand 10 toes. Still got my life, still got my goals. I hold it down cause I choose to stay. This love got walls, but it don't got chains. Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head. I'm a prison wife, but I'm still my own. Made my own moves, still stand on my throne. They think I'm just sitting here wasting my days. Nah, baby, I've been building while he counting the days. I ride for my love, I ride for my king, but I ain't no fool, I handle my biz. I ain't weak, I ain't lost, I ain't throwing my worth. I hold it down cause I know what it's worth. Through the letters, through the calls, through the gates, through it all. Love don't break, love don't fade. I'm still here, I'm still brave. Still don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no distance make me change. Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.
Don't break, love don't fold. I'm still here, I'm still gold. Through the glass, through the gates, ain't no chase.
Still don't break, love don't fold. I hold strong, I don't go. I don't wait, I don't beg. I hold it down and lift my head.
Down and lift my head.